Listen to my prayer, oh God. Defend me with all your might. For God, He is my helper, sustainer of my life.
Hello?
I will praise His name forever. Praise the God who gives me life, who gives me life. Come with great power, oh God, defend me with all your might. Listen to my prayer, oh God, defend me with all your might. For God, He is my helper, sustainer.
I'll turn that down there, because... Hello? Okay, so it's on there. This is, we're listening to Brian Wall. Check him out at Worship Tutorials on YouTube. He also has a website. I love this song. I know I want to listen to it every time. We rush into this. Every time hey, Luciano, you want to be on the podcast? And it's like 5 hours later. Same thing with Frank.
True that, but I gotta say that it's top shape right here, very clean.
Yeah, my home is a mess right now.
Even left me a little fidget spinner.
Fidget spinner.
Have fun if he ever talks too much, you know?
Yeah, that's it too. Look, we'll take a look. There's a logo there. I haven't really made any logos. Look, it turned off. I could put the other one back. Hey, huh? Hey. Hello. It's me, Shawn, and welcome to my podcast. Look there. Right now, we're tonight with my guest, my co-host for the night, Luciano. And I just want you to know that while you just see only a graphic, this is my radio voice.
Oh, yeah.
This is the radio portion.
This is the way he talks on the radio.
Okay, so
I
let me go back to there. We're trying some new setup today. So there it is. Say hello there. Look.
Hey, hello. Of course, that's my phone.
Look, we can see ourselves good too, like this. I like the microphone's kind of messed up. A better one soon. Plus, it's with the earphone is not very good. So you don't know if it's the microphone or the earphone that's not working.
Kind of true, man.
All right, so we're gonna stop there. All right, so this is part 3 of the podcast we started last night, talking about the New Age and the chakras and stuff like that. I did a solo podcast myself on it. So, yeah, whatever, man. I talked about it for an hour. I enjoyed trying to explain my point of view and went over it with you. We're gonna try to go over it. Yeah. So, what did you think? You watched again? We watched or whatever. This Katie Valentine.
I guess we could go over it one more time, or perhaps just
we want to watch it.
Yeah, just go like half away, because in the beginning
first half
it's just like introduction. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, hi, this is for people who are new. She's saying stuff like that. Okay, should we bump it? We'll bump it onto there, and then Luciano, when you're you can bring it back to yourself, okay?
Right.
So we'll listen to her there.
Bible knowledge or on their church history. Maybe they've stopped going to church for a long time because they didn't find it a warm and friendly place, because they were asking these kind of questions. And both groups are very welcome here. I want you to know that we are really starting with beginner metaphysics, Bible knowledge, or on their church, actually grounded in their Christian. And so I'm finding in this group that we are honoring her and her example today. And I bet there's people in your life that you'll want to honor as well. And so I'm finding in this group that we are having two kinds of people who are coming in here. So one group are people who are pretty grounded in their Christian walk, in their Christian life, but they don't know much about chakras and metaphysics, and sometimes don't even know what it is that they want to explore until they find out a little language about it. And then the second group is people who are actually pretty far into exploring metaphysics, but they might be a little wobbly on their Bible knowledge or on their church history. Maybe they've stopped going to church for a long time because they didn't find it a warm and friendly place because they were asking these kind of questions. And both groups are very welcome here. I want you to know that we are really starting with like beginner metaphysics kind of questions. We'll move to more advanced ones. People that enroll in the program that I'm offering, I would love to talk to you about that some more. If you want to know more, we'll be able to go a little deeper, a little faster. We're a little limited on Facebook with what we can do, but in that program, we can really form some advanced questions and some advanced practices that's all grounded in Christianity. And so I want to make sure that there's room for questions at all levels. Questions at all levels are very welcome. But make sure if you're like, well, I'm really advanced on metaphysics, but not so sure about some of the history or some of the Bible, ask questions about that. If you're really sure you're grounded in your church history and in your Bible stuff, but you need to ask questions about metaphysics, ask questions about that. And let's all share together. And so one subject that's been coming up a lot is it okay to talk about chakras if I'm Christian? And so if you're new to the group, that's probably a question that's really on your mind. So let me give you just a brief answer to that, and then you'll learn more as we dive in. You can private message me for more information, and then we can talk about going a little deeper. So chakras are these energy points located in our bodies, and they connect all the different parts of ourselves: spiritual, emotional, physical, you name it. So it's my belief that chakras just are, that chakras just are. They exist, and we tap into them. We happen to call them chakras because that's what they've been named in the eastern part of the world. You don't have to call them chakras. You can call them energy points. You can call them whatever. The universe does not care what you call them. And so there's been some questions. Is this okay? Can I explore this? Well, I think it's okay to explore chakras in the same way that I think it's okay to take Advil. Neither one are mentioned by that name in the Bible, but it's very clear that God wants us to take care of ourselves and to use our brains and to explore and to do that safely. The Bible, though, does talk about significant points on the body. So, for instance, in the Old Testament especially, the Bible talks about the belly and the womb as the seat of all compassion. And we know that that aligns with our sacral chakra, which is, again, where compassion is located for us today. So that's just a really brief overview.
I don't know if you can hear me at all.
Reverend Dr. Katie, just private message me if you want to know more. I would love to talk to you about the program. I think some of you would
she invites
great
you. Talk to her.
People to enroll in that program, and I would love to have you in the community so you can dive a little deeper, and I would love to serve you in that way. So contact me for more information, and otherwise I will just see you out there on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I guess it's
change it for yourself there.
Yeah, she said it all, and I don't understand why people are even complaining about this. Like, what's so wrong about a chakra? What's so it's not a competition or something like. And you could it doesn't impose to one another.
No, I don't see that at all. Actually.
That's actually what we were discussing a little bit earlier about this would be sort of a new age belief or something like that. That's what you call it, right?
The new age, like taking one or more systems and.
Right. So I guess well, if we look at the definition, it's still open there, the new age tab.
No, I think we closed it.
Oh.
Wait, no, it's still down there. Yeah? No, natural theology. We'll bump that back to. We're gonna start on epistemology.
Yeah.
But
anyways, yeah.
I didn't find her video offensive.
Yeah.
And like here, this is we're gonna look into because, again, this is a recap of a discussion about this one here, Christian answers for the New Age, and both myself and Luciano, we think that that's a good thing. Here, let me change it for you. Yeah, that's it. And then touch it again. I think it's good. We do think that apologetics is needed, but we need some definitions, I think, of what is a New Age Christian or a New Age person, because I've been trying to hammer on the point that we should be talking about salvation mostly, I think.
Right. And I think, well, as you mentioned before, New Age, it's kind of a gateway for atheists to God, right? I mean...
Yeah, we were kind of thinking about that earlier. Like, for some people, I think for myself to really take things serious, I had to accept that there might be a spirit.
Right. Well, and perhaps the chakra has a lot to do with that too, right? I mean, if you start by telling yourself, oh, we have these energy points in our bodies, then people might start telling themselves, well, we might as well have a spirit,
Yeah, well, it's just to think that there might be something outside of the universe, something that's supernatural, like in that sense, but also of things that are of a spiritual nature that, might be measured by science, or like what we've been talking about, the logical evidence. So we were going to touch on point for the logical evidence, and then the biological or physical evidence, and then go to the biblical, just because that was a thing that we kept hearing when we were reading the comments. And Luciano was looking through the comments too, and it was, what I love these people, and what they're doing is great. They are reaching out.
Yeah, perhaps go over the comments once again, just to show the viewers.
Yeah, I think that maybe I got overly upset too. Maybe it's because I've come from New Ager. Like the moniker up here is at former New Ager, and
former New Ager, and that is Christianity for the New Age.
Yeah, but
so I guess this guy's like against chakra because in a way he must have felt like this in the past this belief was pulling him away from Jesus,
Or maybe it was before he even knew Jesus. I think I understand saying it's like an emotional
so
thing.
he relates how he used to be before he knew Jesus. To,
and look, it's
the fact that this woman mentions the word chakra,
Oh, it's we have it left on there. Look, gotta put it back. Or no, we're looking at the comments. Yeah, that's the thing. Why don't we pull it to this one here? You wanna? We'll just go bump it back and forth, and then when you want, we'll zoom in on a comment here. The acceptance of a shot, because that was another thing when we were looking at their rebuttal.
Gonna get right over there.
Because there's I don't think that in the time that we have that we're going to be able to cover, especially the biological evidence.
This is a comment on her video. This page here, Christian Answers for the New Age.
Yeah, this is the post. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the actual post.
Video, and
they shared.
They have comment this, right? This.
Yeah, they used and from somebody else. I guess because someone who I don't think it was Christian Answers for the New Age. I don't, because they say that this is written by Marcia, and Marcia is saying that it came from D.D. Hannah. So, that's why we should, look, this could be many people, one people. I know.
The body mentioned in scripture such as the belly, whatever. Okay. Points out the sequence.
Talking about the belly, womb, bowels, and explaining how. But again, this is something where more recently, and maybe we'll put links up at another time about this, or we can open them up quickly. But they're finding neurons and brain connections to the heart and into the stomach and the intestinal system. So like the heart sends more information back to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So we can see that, within just the physical body in itself, there are many different systems, and, What do you think, Luciano? I'm going to pass it to you since you're here. Do you
Well, I think
about these concepts, because we're touching on logical evidence as well, that it's a properly basic belief, and maybe I will jump to that here.
logical evidence. Yeah, I mean, I think there is pretty much logical evidence for the existence of chakras, like this woman says, and I don't understand how this man conceives that the fact that chakras exist is opposed to the existence of Jesus or something. I don't know. I don't understand why he gets so so angry about this video. And that's basically what she's saying.
Yeah, well,
she's
let's
saying,
jump to that question. I know I showed it on the other one. The woman in this video frightened me, and I'll just bump that over there, and we'll make. I'm gonna make it bigger, I guess.
The woman in this video frightened me and angered me at the same time. Do reasonable people actually believe this?
Yeah.
What needs to happen to these misguided New Ages believers before they turn around and see the light?
The light. Wow.
And see what this guy has answered?
Yeah.
She's speaking as a Christian.
Yeah, this is something I was saying that bothered me. I way zoomed in too much. There we go. The woman in the video frightened me and angered me at the same time.
Oh.
Do reasonable people actually believe this? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Wow.
I mean...
And then you want to get, look, the answer, the answer is upset me just as much. She's speaking as a Christian, which is why I posted this, though I'm wondering if she's New Thought. New Agers do not think they're misguided. I was one for 20 plus years, because we were going to set, we're going to go through logical fallacies, but I really didn't like that. I have to post this person. And no offense, I bet you're a great person, but when you're arguing from authority and making yourself the authority.
In my opinion, this is a really pointless argument, man. I think that I mean, this guy is probably misguided, and honestly, I wouldn't even call that New Age. I think that's just, if you want to call it a fact,
I
that
think
we
there
have
might be some kind of groups
chakra
like that.
points, then
I hear this
you
one.
can't call it some New Age stuff. I mean,
we're talking about that earlier, or here.
I think this guy is really just, what might have happened here is that this woman might have tagged the word New Age in her video, and this guy may have looked for the word New Age just to put some words in it, and
what do you think it is? Who is a Christian? What kind of definition are you going to choose?
A Christian, I think, is somebody who has given his heart to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A follower?
Right. I mean, not only a follower, but somebody who looks forward to enlight the spirit of the Holy Spirit in himself, and adapt the character of Jesus, trying to be as good as possible and as much as him as possible,
This is cool. I like how we get it now. Can put the camera in.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, I think the word is something about being a little Jesus. So that's why I was saying a follower or like, a student. I'm gonna bring that up real fast. Probably spelling that wrong. There you go. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, though.
Well, now it's gonna talk about Christianity, right? There you go.
No, but I mean, no. Hang on. Let's look at it. Because in the Bible, when it's talking about
right there, one
belief in the teachings,
yeah,
and then that's what I'm looking for here. Hang on. Always pop-ups everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
In the Bible here.
Pop-ups in the Bible, There'll be a new song. Now there's pop-ups in the Bible. Pop-ups in the
Maybe
Bible.
where did I see? That's where I would have to take time to analyze even what I am thinking about. Here, I'll put it back. There you go. For you there. So, the logical evidence. What did you think about that when we're gonna go like talking about it as a?
Honestly, you know, I have looked it up in the past on the internet and everything, but I think it would be a good experience to look it up for ourselves and see what evidence everybody could have found, you know, about the chakra on the internet. What do you think about that? Like, just look it up right now.
Somebody's calling my phone, but I'm not gonna answer it. Oh, maybe it's Frank. Hello?
Put it on speakers, man.
Oh, it's Frank. It is Frank.
Put it on speaker, man. Call him Skype on your phone.
Yeah. That sounds cool, man. Yeah, we're just finishing up this conversation. So, hang on a second. Give me a second there. Okay, we got Frank. Frank wants to join us.
Oh, yeah.
It's good that we can end it like that. Because he said you were coming home from some family member, right? It was. All right. Can you grab actually the connect's right here. Now, can you reach behind, Luciano, can you reach behind the TV? And there's, on the end of the other side of the TV there.
Yeah.
Look for HDMI cable with plastic on it.
Yeah.
Let me see it. I don't think we're going to be showing any more web pages now. Yeah, so bring that there. Pass that to me there. And then we're going to plug it. Where? Okay, Frank, I'm gonna let you go and send you a Skype invite. All right, see you in a minute. All right, cool. Keep talking, Luciano. Like, who is this number? It's a telemarketer. It must be. There we go. Search that out.
But why don't you look for the chakra as well, you know?
Well, we can. You have the other monitor there, right? You want to do that?
Yeah. Can we switch to the other
Now,
monitor?
can you turn the
well?
Xbox on? Pass me the controller. There you go. And underneath is good here. Sorry, only Frank is watching live. That's okay. I hope we can get Matthew from True Talk in here too. We were watching a video from another Facebook friend, Rob Lungberg. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm bad pronouncing names. We were, as we were getting ready for this podcast, he had a really good video on there. And you know what? This is cool. If we're on Xbox, we can pause Frank for a minute and put it onto the YouTube. Same thing.
Yeah.
This is we are not sponsored by Microsoft or Xbox, but I'll tell you what, I love my Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't really play a lot of games on it anymore, but watching YouTube and using it for Skype and things like that is very useful.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the lamp wire out of the way there, yeah? There we go. Everybody gets to see my Halo wallpaper. Okay, so I'll go to Skype. Get Frank in there. Now, I think we're going to have to move the connect.
It's good. The camera's here.
Yeah, but so he can see, when he's there. It's so that we see him best anyways. He's doesn't need to see us, really.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking while we get him on here. Biological evidence. We were talking about that earlier, the nerve endings and gland systems
exactly.
and even like the neurons in the heart and stuff. I just don't see how anybody when we're reading the comments, they just are so dismissive.
And I have personally felt it, I mean, I have felt joy in my heart. I have felt joy, fulfilling my whole body, and a variety of different emotions rolling through my body, and that's such a thing.
We're live tonight talking
Yes.
about different things. And we got Frank here,
Hey,
Big Frankie
guys,
D
what's going
from
on?
Brooklyn.
Hey, how you doing,
Okay.
Frank?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Keep talking, Frank, so I can just make sure you don't peek out like me. I'm peeking out, I think.
All right. Now I remember Luciano's name now because I'm associating him with Lucky Luciano.
That's it.
That's how I remember the name.
I think wasn't he from New York as well?
Yes, I'm in New York.
Oh, yeah, but
Kid-
look, Luciano wasn't he
My
from
shirt
New
is so
York?
big.
Yeah.
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Oh wow.
That's
He
where
might-
the Five Family originated from in New York.
yeah. Well,
Hey, you like it? Frank, you're watching live. How's it look now? Now we're changing the cameras around
yeah.
and using a
Yeah,
different...
look, I can see Luciano's chest in your face.
There you go.
Oh yeah. You can see my chest. And well, maybe I should go. Oh yeah. I can't really like when I do my face, I can see my face, but I'm turned. And when I look towards the camera, I can't look towards the screen.
Look, point to the camera. Come on,
Yeah,
point the
that
camera. We'll see how long the delay is, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Next time we'll get Frank in on it too. We'll be pointing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
Frank. Frank, we were going over it last night. It's more of a philosophical argument because like we were saying earlier, we're talking about it. Before you can read the Bible, you have to have a mind that is
Right.
what would I say, cognitively capable.
I would say enlightened by the Holy Spirit. I would.
Yes,
You know.
I would agree. And you have to have an open mind too. If you read it with
Yeah.
a mind that's negative or trying to disprove it, you're not gonna take it as it is. You're not
Oh,
gonna get.
I see what you guys are talking about on the Skype. Yeah, well, sorry, Frank. Come on, man. You're a guest. For us to get you to look nice on the screen, you got to be on the little Connect screen.
Yeah. Oh, I never look
Actually,
nice,
people
so.
can't even see it. Can
No,
you see
no,
what
no,
I'm
no,
talking-
you
I'm
look
talking
cool.
about this little square here.
And look, let's what is it? This one here? There we go. Look, now we're gonna change it.
There it is.
There, everybody. Now we get it. We can do a close up. Frank, talk. Well, we got you in the close up.
Yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
Look, I can get my head in just a little bit. Come on, Luciano, get your head in just a...
Yeah, hello.
Hello. You gotta get your face on the mic. There we go. Okay, Frank, we're listening to
You
you.
should go close up. You look as big as us, man. That's so funny.
Hey, what's up? I don't know
Okay.
what to say. I didn't get much.
So what do you think about that? Okay, so the chakra. Okay, and that was a point we were gonna have. We're not gonna call it chakra no more on the podcast. We're only gonna refer to it as energy center or interface point, something like
Yeah,
that.
I guess.
I
I
don't
would call
think
it. Yeah.
renaming it makes it any better or worse.
Well, it takes away a negative connotation. That was one of the things we wanted to point it on. That in
Well,
Dr. Katie, her
see-
video, she mentioned like me when there are times in my life where I would try to talk to New Agers about Jesus. They didn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? They didn't like Jesus, but if you ask any questions at church, you get a negative response and a cold shoulder, and then you don't go to church.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. But Frank is a champion of church because the Catholic Mass is so long. You have to be...
About an
Awesome.
hour, 50 minutes, something like that.
Oh, okay, so it's only like the holidays that are really long.
If you go to the midnight Easter Vigil, it's about 2.5 hours.
Oh, even that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
still.
it's only for people like endurance. An hour is fine. I know some Southern Baptists, they go to church for like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot, man.
They have,
It's
a lot of
popular.
singing, dancing.
It's popular
yeah,
around
really?
here.
Yeah,
There are a lot of Baptist churches up
Nice.
here, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, look at those Greek guys like Jacob and John and them.
Oh, yeah.
They're Baptists. I
Yeah,
believe.
it must be like the chilling spot,
And you would like our community is similar to New York. We have
Yeah,
all
true,
kinds of
yeah.
different peoples in Park Extension.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we have
Greeks
perhaps
and
more more variety than in New York, I guess.
No, no, no. Come on, you
Well,
can't
in
say
New York,
that.
there's lots of people, but
Let's
if
switch
we
back
say
to Frank. Frank can tell you how you're wrong
per
about that.
capita, I think
Here,
yeah, we
Frank.
would have more.
Here, you can tell. Oh,
Boy.
look, but they don't see that I did that. I mean, okay, yeah, on the big camera, but on there you wouldn't see it like
Yeah.
falling down.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
there. So do there, Frank. Tell Luciano how he's wrong that how ethnic New York is. Look, and I'm gonna just
Well,
I zoned him out.
Oh
I
my
zoned him out
God.
even.
Per capita, though.
Are you kidding? New York is like the biggest melting pot of people in the world.
Yeah,
We have
yeah, yeah. But
every
if you take
ethnicity.
100
You can-
people, I'd say
Wait,
there's,
let him speak. Let him
there's,
speak. Let Frank speak. It's his zoom in and everything.
Yeah.
You can walk down the street and meet 5 different people from 5 different areas in the
For
world.
sure, for sure.
It's amazing. And not that it's bad, good, or indifferent. It's just a lot of people are here, and our neighborhoods tend to be self-segregating too. So you have like a Russian neighborhood, black neighborhood, Chinese, Italian. It used to be like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, me, what I'm saying is
Is
that
Brooklyn
I
dangerous?
haven't done this study, but I believe that perhaps if we take 100 or 500 people from New York, then you'd have like perhaps 40% from one place, and then 20% from one another, and then you have like smaller percentages,
Mm.
But here in Montreal, it's like you have 5% from one, 10% from one, 4% from one, 3% from one, 2%. It's like very, very versatile, and especially in this particular neighborhood here. I think it's
Yeah, and I will
one of
attest
the
to that.
most,
Look now, I got me and Frank on. There we go. Yeah, in our neighborhood.
Oh.
You know what? I don't know how credible this is, but one time I was looking up the mosque near our place, and it said it was on FBI terror watch list. Now I don't know if this
Yeah,
is
it's like
just because
that.
sometimes when you're deep into your, trying to learn Arabic words in the Quran or something, you're doing that, you're gonna find some weird information. What do you think, Frank?
First
what-
of all, I'm going to go.
yeah, I'll
My
do it for you.
area used to be Italian. Now it's starting to become more Chinese. A lot of Russian too coming in. But there's about 17 million people in my city,
Okay.
and I don't know how many are illegal because New York City is a sanctuary city. I don't know if you guys knew about that.
No, I
Sanctuary
didn't.
city.
This is a democratic
Yeah.
cheater move, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Part of
Yeah.
my improper grammar and low vocabulary, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
And if you
no,
want to
I
talk
think it
about
was
mosques
Frank.
and parallel,
Frank, my understanding is it's something like you can attest to this, because it's your ball game here. Something like 2 to 5. I think it was 2 to 5 million dead people voting. I think for the
Oh,
whole
yeah, that too.
for Clinton.
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
it's
people who weren't
in the
even
California, New York mostly. But I don't know if you know about the American electoral process. I can explain a little bit to you.
Yeah, I think I
You know-
get kind of an idea, but you can break it down because
Okay,
it's going to be mostly
well,
Canadians
just-
here.
Well, simply speaking, let's say New York has, I believe it's 40 something electoral votes. I'm not really sure about that,
Okay.
but if there are 20 million people in the state, and like 11 million people vote for the president in one direction, that direction takes all electoral votes. So
Okay.
that's how that works. So in the states where there were dead people voting, mainly New York, California, Ohio, Washington D.C., places where it's mostly liberal,
Mm-hmm.
those electoral votes all went to the left, went to the Democratic
Now,
president.
Frank, I have
Wow.
another
But you
quick
have-
question about this same topic. Is this where you don't need IDs to vote too?
Yeah, a lot of the liberal
Yeah, okay,
states.
yeah, huh?
I,
So you
Yeah.
get that.
I just had to sign my name, so anybody could have came in, signed my name, and voted in my place.
Oh,
No,
there you go.
okay.
Drop it
Wow.
again, huh?
You just need to sign your name to vote. Is
In,
that
in
true?
my area,
That's
yes.
crazy,
In my
man.
area, yes.
No way.
Didn't have to show ID. Yeah.
You
Right,
don't,
but
you don't
they
need any sort of ID or anything.
No, man.
You
No, they
can't
think
be
voter
that.
ID is racist. But who's the racist thinking that black
So
people?
I could vote
can't
10
get a thing?
times
You could
using
vote
10
10
different
times.
names
10 different names.
from 10 different people.
Well,
And-
Frank, is this
I mean-
true? There are organizations or what's the term, super PAC or something like that, that drive the people around, like illegal immigrants and stuff around to vote? And I mean, it's a crazy rumor.
Oh yeah, 3 million illegal immigrants voted in the last election, the presidential election, and she still
Yeah, I
lost.
heard that.
They say she got the popular vote. It's just not. The popular vote is not what elects a president. The electoral vote is. So even with California, New York having the most electoral votes, you have a say for the rest of the country, and that's what got Trump in.
Yeah, you know,
I think it's popular to be an illegal immigrant or something, man. If that's called a popular vote, can be, man.
Oh yeah,
even Mexico is
same thing with what's the guy's name? The German guy there, or is he Austrian? George Soros.
George Soros, yeah.
He's paying people $20, $30, $40 an hour to protest.
DC line, BLM, Antifa, all the protests that you see, he's paying for. He's worth billions, and he's paying out of pocket for all this stuff.
Okay, so I want to finish off these. Because I can almost do it. Can you bring up the tab, Luciano? Bring up bring up the general revelation. If you can bring that up, and then because when you bring it up there, then we'll punch it in up here. So Frank, how would you define general revelation to the viewers from your understanding?
What, from the Bible?
From the Bible, or from any Christian theologians, whether it be Catholic or Protestant.
From what I understand, general revelation is a prophecy from a prophet. It's someone that wrote it down in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a minor prophet or one of the major prophets, revelation is written down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess because like when Luciano,
I don't like calling it revelation because Muhammad called it revelation.
No, I understand, and that's
the prophecy from God.
I'm using it as a term, as like a theological term or a philosophical term. Luciano's going to bring up the.
How do you open the file?
It is to say that I don't know what I'm going to use the wrong words here, but like it's from my understanding, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Yeah. If anything, we'll just switch. It can switch Frank can keep. Actually, no, I don't think he can keep talking if we do that.
You still going to hear me if you switch me off?
No, I don't think so. We're not going to do that then. Can you move the mouse around on that wallpaper?
Yeah. My hands are.
So do you see like? Here, let me see. I can see from here. You could go over to the dot, I think.
To what? To the apple on top?
I don't know what's going on here. Display, it would be that one. There we go. I got it. Oh, this is crazy because I'm looking on my iPad to use a computer.
Oh, oops. Okay, my mistake. Okay, sorry about that.
So we can keep you on here because I'm gonna, like, right now we're looking at Dr. Katie Valentine. Is she go by Kate and then E Valentine, you think?
KTE.
Or using the Y? And Frank, we can still hear you. It's just that the live feed is actually getting the stream from the computer.
Yeah.
What do you think, Frank? She looked like at least like. Did you sense a demonic presence around her?
I'd have to see her face to face. I don't think so. I think she's just misguided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I find that's a fair assumption. And like I said in my podcast I did earlier, talking about this, I said, that I told you we were going to talk about this, and you went and engaged with her, and, just in case she thought maybe you were, like, maybe not super polite or gentle with her. I know you're strong with your apologetics, but you want to talk about truth too, right?
Yeah. Well, did you read my exchange with her? I think I was gentle. Well, not gentle. I was to the point, but polite.
To the point. Yeah, well, I mean, this is a tough subject, too. That's what I was saying, though, for me, it's... I would have to gauge my weight on like how much the value towards like salvation, like if it's going to be a problem with salvation,
or if it's gonna bring her closer to salvation, right? And well, I don't.
It's tough to debate somebody who doesn't know anything about Islam, and others. She doesn't seem to know a lot about Christianity either. I had to teach her some Bible verses too.
But
So,
No,
what's
Frank,
wrong
come
with,
on,
with
man.
the chakras?
Really?
Well,
Which
Like, they
verses were
haven't
you?
killed anybody.
I want to know
I'm
the
sorry?
verses you were using.
the verses of righteous judgment, and what was it, John 16, 1-4, and I saw something from Revelation. I'm not quite sure what I used from that.
Here, Frank. Now on the screen I got the definition for general revelation. I don't know if I can actually read it because it's a very small screen. Maybe Luciano can read it. Can you read it from there? Like on the monitor?
There's nothing there, man.
Oh, it doesn't show because it's on like another monitor.
Oh yeah.
You want me to
Could,
pull
uh,
up? I
push it
I have
to
my
the side.
computer in front of me. I can.
Actually, Shawn, you
I-
could push
Take
it.
this wire here.
You could grab it here up top and push it to the side, man.
See this wire I'm passing you underneath
There,
there?
there.
Look at the wire I'm
There,
passing.
I can see it. I can see it.
Oh, just by unplugging that wire, it got rid of it. Look. Okay. You want to read it, Luciano?
In theology, general revelation and natural revelation refers to knowledge about God and spiritual matters discovered through natural means such as observation of nature, the physical universe, philosophy, and reasoning. Christian theologians use the term to describe knowledge of God purported to be plainly available to all humankind.
There you go. We can stop there. So, Frank, it's like we're saying like a theological, philosophical, I guess you could say structure or belief or whatever about how we learn about God first in the nature. I think it's Thomas Aquinas who was the one who wrote it, or like theorized it or whatever. And then scripture, like the Bible, is special revelation.
Yeah.
Like more explicit, direct.
Oh.
Like I think you heard apologists use talking about the whoever baked the cake, they know the ingredients, and like you don't know the ingredients, and or if they write your name on the cake,
Yeah.
it kind of implies some intelligence.
Right.
So bring it down there. There we
Actually,
go.
I want to pull it up on Google myself here.
Oh, we lost you.
Hold on.
There
you go. Yeah, and we're actually, everybody can see right now, it's zoomed in on you, Frank.
This
Google
general revelation is pretty much like what happened to John, right? Like when he was looking into the sky and the cloud opened itself and he heard the 12 trumpets.
So wait, looking at this definition of general revelation sounds a little wonky to me. Maybe a little New Age, if I'm not mistaken, because you're not looking at revelation about God through God. You're looking at it through nature, and observation.
No.
Yeah, well,
no.
there's different
That's
types
the
of
whole point of it.
revelation.
Is
There's,
no. Wait, let me explain to him, because that is a way that God is choosing to reveal Himself through His creation. Like I said, this is, and it's quote. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Aquinas is a Catholic philosopher, theologian.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and no, I understand what it might seem like that, but we're talking about God and Him revealing Himself, and things like His character, I guess you could say too, in a lot of sense. Especially us, Frank. Can't you see? Like for me, I would say we as people are somewhat a revelation. I mean, we'd have to take it in hindsight from the Bible, but if you say, okay, the Bible, or even I could say without the Bible, it would be very hard. But you could say like consciousness itself, like any kind of supernatural, like a maximally the greatest being for me would be like that in a sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that some scientists, looking at, I think Einstein, I think he said that the more he studied the universe, the more he believed there's a God.
Yeah. I think you can't escape that if you're searching for truth, because God is truth. I think, again, that's why, for me, it's relationship with God, that it's based on love. So he doesn't force you to learn about him or to believe in him. But this is why we're talking about general revelation. So this is the point, Frank, that he will reveal himself in a way that is not explicit or forceful to you, so that you can, learn more about him and come into a loving relationship fruitfully.
Yeah. And also, I think it has a lot to do with, free will has a lot to do with how you come to the Lord, right? I mean, I haven't come to the Lord exactly the same way as many other people have. I have my own, my own trajectory, and some people have their own,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a part of free will, to have the possibility of reaching the Lord any way we want.
You
Right?
can turn it a little bit.
Well, not two people ever have the same path to God, but they all lead to the same place, the same destination.
Right.
I don't know if you ever watched David Wood's testimony about how he became a Christian on YouTube.
I've seen some of it. I think about half of it. It's like 20 minutes or so.
It's something like that. Yeah, I mentioned it before, and he said he was arrested for almost killing his father with the hammer.
Yeah, it's
He
crazy.
went to jail. Yeah, he went to jail. He was trying to actually debate one of his Christian cellmates. There is no God. He studied the Bible.
I've heard something about that.
Yeah. Right. And the more he studied the Bible, the more he believed in God, and he became a Christian like that.
Yeah. Well, same
So-
thing happened to me. It's I
There's
haven't been
evidence.
to jail, of course, and everything, but I started reading the Bible just to find something wrong in it that I could argue against, and the more I kept reading it, the more I realized that there was nothing I could say that it was bad about it, so I just
Right.
changed my
You
mind.
read the Bible, you can't find in context. You can't find anything wrong with it.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's it. In context, that's the thing.
Yeah, and you gotta put yourself in the situation of the time, right? You can't.
Well, yeah. My story, I was a nominal Christian for a very long time. I stopped going to church when I was 14. I can tell my brief story if you want to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, I
But
used to go
Frank,
to church.
I just want to stop you really quick. Something concerned me. I was listening to True Talk the other day, and maybe it was like an older episode. I don't remember, but Matthew was saying, he was saying something about you wanting to be a unicorn again, or you think you're a unicorn.
No way.
Something like
fun
that.
of
I know, because
people-
you're going to get into your testimony, so it's
Yeah.
important in the unicorns.
No,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a joke. We were
Let's talk
joking
about it. Definitely, you have to put it in your
Yeah.
testimony.
Basically, we're making fun of people who think they're something else. So, like I say, people want to see men who think they're women, women who think they're men. I'm a unicorn. All my friends in Apache attack helicopter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Luciano's the president.
Yes, it wasn't.
I am the billionaire.
Yeah, right.
I'm see, for me, my pronouns change. So, what are we today? Or basically Monday. So today I'm captain.
Captain.
Tuesday I want to be the commander.
Commander. Wednesday. You're gonna
Emperor.
be the janitor.
I want to be emperor.
Oh, emperor.
Janitor. No, it would be like I don't know.
Okay, getting back on track.
Mhm.
I used to go to masses just for funerals, weddings, basically things like that. So my cousin-in-law's mother died, and during the transubstantiation, I can't ever get that word out. I felt a peace and a joy that I could never feel any. It was intense. Ever
cool.
since then, I started going to church again. It was about 4 years now.
Oh, look.
It's amazing how the Holy Spirit just filled you in certain ways.
True that. And I think, isn't that I don't know, can't you relate it to the chakras, this kind of thing? I believe I remember myself going back home on the train, and it was just like I had stopped smoking, and I just felt so good, and and I felt this sort of, I couldn't call it something in particular, but there was definitely something there, and it started feeling my whole body, you know, and
That's exactly how I felt. My whole body
it
felt
was like
a
it was
lot
like
peaceful.
like activated, you know, the whole body was activated, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. It's it's actually a peaceful feeling. It's not really like
Yeah,
tingling or anything else.
definitely. And
Congratulations on not quitting smoking. It's hard to do.
but again, this is what
No, no,
makes
no,
me
no, no, no. He
what?
never quit smoking.
No, I I quit smoking for a couple of days or maybe
Luciano
a
is
month or
a
so.
writer.
and
He's
then-
an artist.
Yeah, no, I can't.
He
quit.
needs to
It's
smoke
hard,
cigarettes
it's
for his
hard.
poetry
It's
at
in
least,
my
man.
DNA, man. I gotta.
Right? Tell him, at least you need it for your poetry and your
Yeah,
painting.
my poetry and prose.
Yeah, I don't smoke. My brother does though. It's a very
Oh,
annoying
yeah.
habit.
Frank, how many
Yeah.
tattoos you have?
None.
Ah, there you go.
No, that's
Me
good.
too, me too.
Yeah,
But I've seen some cool Jesus tattoos.
yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I'm diabetic. They say diabetics can't do it. I'm insulin dependent also.
Yeah.
I think we put to bed this New Age stuff. I think what the main thing was that we didn't like, Frank, on our end is they didn't really bring any scripture to support that chakras are bad or wrong or evil,
Yeah.
or that you couldn't
Well,
do
it
it
doesn't
with
support,
Christ.
It doesn't not support either. So
Well, I mean,
it's not,
we didn't. I mean, we could open up a tab and start going through a little bit of it. You know, where I'm not gonna say you will agree with it or I will agree with it, but there is, if we want to take a look through that, especially, and then jump really quickly to the biological evidence of the chakras.
Yeah.
And then there was another point that I wanted to get to. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
You know, especially for me, just to make sure that we're covering the topic properly.
Right.
So if we go to the browser, because like I was saying, for me, even if we go back to the actual first page, they give explanation about how they refute the woman's or whoever it was that made the article, what their thoughts were on the chakra, wasn't it? Something like that. They were making the assertion, they're explaining about emotions, feelings.
Right. You know, they're basically making assumptions about her, and they're making assumptions about what the chakra really is, you know. And it's very important to understand the meaning of words and the meaning, the conceptual meaning of the word, you know. I think they're exaggerating it a little bit when they're talking to this woman who just wants to talk about chakras.
Let's not forget though, they never talked to her. Frank talked to her. Frank was the first.
Yeah, just a little debate. I mean, she wanted to shut me down because she couldn't really refute me too well.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't read that.
Yeah.
You should have showed me that.
She wanted to end the debate. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to teach her, but she doesn't want to learn.
Yeah, I know I haven't read it.
Because I have a whole arsenal of stuff about Islam she didn't even want to get into. That was basically the debate about 666 and Revelation.
Yeah.
And basically, well, okay. But
Frank, I can understand someone not agreeing with you on some of the biblical prophecies, but I would assume, like when talking about Islam, she would be really soft on it, and I think that's dangerous personally. But
absolutely, she says she loves her Muslim friends. I said, okay, fine.
I love my Muslim friends too.
Yeah.
Frank loves his Muslims
absolutely,
too.
I do too.
All the Muslims.
But you don't have to love Islam. You don't have to love the ideology, but you love the person. So if you want to really love the person, you have to tell them what they believe is a lie. And I use the example of the Bible saying Jesus was crucified, died, and rose from the dead.
Well, you know what? If I have her on, I'm gonna talk to her then about Islam. I will, ask her first if it's okay to talk about it, and I'll even field my questions and my perspective first.
Okay, you
to
want
be fair,
her to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh no, to be fair, I will give her all the questions and.
I asked her if it was true. Was Jesus crucified or was he not? She said she agreed with the Bible. Jesus was crucified.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so then you just judged Islam as wrong. She made the judgment. She told me judging things is not right. It's not good. It's not what a Christian does. But I
I
told
think
her
she
as a
should.
Christian,
But Frank, if she rephrased it to hypocritical judging, would you be okay? If she just framed it and packaged it better?
absolutely, yeah. But she said, yeah, she wants zero judgment on anything. Just and I don't think that's right because if
Okay,
you
I'm
love
gonna write that
somebody,
on the
you have
Yeah, I
paper.
think she might. She
That would
might
be a question. What? Because I wanted to ask certain things like that, like on judgment.
Ask her what she thinks about micro-Christians.
No,
I'm joking.
I think I'm gonna have a. If I'm actually able to speak with her, I think I'll have a good conversation.
Yeah.
But I understand there was another point that I had. Remember when we were listening to the chakra video that was of concern was she was saying doesn't matter what name it is, right?
Right, exactly. But
And
they
but
are
then she
there,
said
and that's
the
what she
universe
claims.
the universe doesn't care what you call a chakra.
Right.
So I kind of that threw me off because we're talking about God. I don't like putting God into unless you're going to be like I when I came out of New Age, I still for a while I held on to not pantheistic beliefs but panentheistic, like PANEN, panentheism, where the universe is kind of like you could think of it as like the stomach of God or a part of God, but like there was more to God outside of like the outside of the universe.
Yeah.
Supernatural
Yeah.
parts were just and that is a question I think among philosophers is how did God create, like from nothing? What did he create with? Did he create with his essence, or there are a lot of, but I mean so
oh
what do we
God,
got?
well, yeah,
Blah blah
yeah,
blah blah
and
blah. Judgment. That's one thing that we're gonna want to ask about, and then the universe. I want to ask her about the universe, because I would have to go to science. I think with modern cosmology, as far as modern science and physics and like I said, cosmology goes, the universe was started with a big bang, and it has an exact age, and it can rewind back, and there's equations that explain the rate of acceleration. And Frank, what do you think about that?
what do I think about that? Oh God, a lot of atheists talk about the Big Bang. It's pure scientists, and they say that the universe was created from this one little singularity. What was in the singularity? How big was the singularity, and how did that form creation? That sounds like a little. It sounds a little like God did it instead of just just
Yeah.
happening spontaneously.
And that's why I can't go to a pantheistic belief. The panentheism, I can almost vibe with it because you could say the part of God outside of God separated a part of himself to make the universe. I could see something like that being rational. I'm not saying that it's, biblical or anything like that at all. But
We could
Well,
say.
I was watching how the universe is created on the Science Channel,
mhm.
and one of the scientists, who was an atheist, by the way, he actually debated I don't know another one of the Christian debater you mentioned yesterday. I can't remember the name offhand, but he was saying that the
Dr. Craig
way
maybe.
that the Earth is the perfect distance away from the sun, we also have the biggest moon compared to any other planet in our solar system. It keeps our rotation from being wobbly.
Uh-huh.
Um, we also up at the perfect distance to have water is in 3 states
I've
at
heard
the
stuff
same
like that a
time.
lot before, because
And
I'm interested in. I know people are gonna laugh, but like
what does that sound?
aliens or something. Oh, it's Luciano playing the fidget spinner.
Oh, okay.
But
That sounds like something roaring in my ear.
yeah,
So
Yes,
this
sir.
like
the science
isn't
said
isn't
that
the one face of the moon always kind of fixed on the Earth too?
yes, yes,
Mhm.
the rotation of the moon is the same time as its at the same time rotates on its axis. So one rotation is one spin on its axis. So one side always faces the Earth.
Right.
Um, he was explaining how that could be as like rolling sixes in roulette, six
Mhm.
times in a row. Two, and it's almost it's a
Right.
scientific
Because
impossibility that
every
everything is
time.
perfect. Right, that everything is perfect in
Yeah.
our solar system to support life.
Yeah. No, it's a way. Actually, it's way more than that, man. It's the odds are extremely.
It's trillions to one. It's
Yeah,
trillions.
Yeah, well, you talked about the roulette. You made me think about statistics and stuff, and especially one time
Right.
that I went to the casino. Just this is true story. Yeah, just first time I played to well, not the first time, but first time on the night. I grabbed $5 and I put them on the 23, and the 23 comes out, and I get $185.
Yeah.
Could you please stop with that spinach?
Yeah, can you?
Oh,
Fidget
sorry.
spinner, I cannot hear anybody.
It's vibrating
I'm
through the
sorry.
table.
Oh
Yeah, it's really, really loud in my ear. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, because
No, it's not your fault.
From the...
Yeah, he's getting it from the Connect.
Oh,
It's right
that's
there,
it,
man.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
Frank's.
yeah.
You're spinning it on his head, man.
Yeah.
Look, let's put it on there. Look,
Exactly.
let's put it right there. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it.
That's it.
Oh, there we go.
Put a little
The fidget
duct tape
spinner's on
it,
Frank's head now.
Yeah.
And science, look at
Okay.
other
So-
in telescope range, and none of them have our planet, our solar system's arrangement of rocky planets
Oh, be careful.
Sorry.
and gas planets outside.
I got a
So
tab
we're
open.
here. Our solar system seems to be an anomaly in of the solar systems they've studied.
You know,
already.
Frank, you've been a good conservative guy, and this is where he's going to start telling us about the Planet X and Nibiru.
No.
And
No,
No?
I don't believe in all that. No,
No,
no.
oh, we have to find
Yeah.
someone like that. I used to, I find the evidence compelling, at least for where he shows the number of the planets and like their place in the solar system and the size and their tablets or whatever. They describe like the composition of some of the planets or moons and stuff like that. It's really things we didn't know until Voyager probe, but that doesn't mean like an alien can come and say he's God. Doesn't mean he's God if it's an alien, or
Right.
like Chinese people can come and conquer Ireland, and they
Yeah.
might,
They're not
maybe they come in
Irish,
airships, and like
yeah.
anything can happen, and it can be written down weird.
Right.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Any thoughts? Luciano can look. I'll put this one on here. It's just a Wikipedia page on natural theology,
Yeah.
and again, it's talking about like a worldview,
Yeah. Well,
theological worldview for.
my belief in this, or my opinion in this video, personally, if you ask me, is that, well, she's a Christian, so she must have if she's honest and consistent with her beliefs, then she must have a Christian heart and be a righteous person, right? And if she likes to talk about chakras, as long as she doesn't harm anybody or she doesn't steal from anybody or etc., I believe that whatever makes her feel good or whatever makes her be more productive
What do you think about that,
or
Frank?
motivates her, I think that's.
I don't agree.
You don't
I
agree?
really don't
Yeah.
agree. No,
Explain,
not at all.
explain.
I think that if what she believes is going to teach somebody else and they're going to lead them away from Christianity into Buddhism or anything that
Frank is
practices
speaking now.
chakras over Christianity, I think that she's leading people astray. I don't think that she don't have any business telling anybody else.
So chakras are
About-
like a gateway
about
drug.
chakras.
Gateway drug to.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a friend who went from religion to religion before he became a Christian, just like you, Shawn.
Uh-huh.
He was actually a Muslim first, and
Okay.
Yeah.
practicing yoga, chakras, and all that stuff. He
Uh-huh.
thought it was demonic, also.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that we haven't really discussed. I think, flip the camera back there. That's something that we should discuss. That's spiritual warfare. As Bible-believing
Any
Christians,
religion-
we talk, we believe in Satan, Lucifer, fallen angel, prince of
I want to
darkness.
say, any religion that does not have God Yahweh as its head is satanic and demonic. The Aztecs using human sacrifice. Of course, you know all about that. The Incas too. actually Buddhism, Hinduism, they all have different gods, and all these gods are multifaceted.
Hmm.
The Hindus actually have a god with 6 arms, I think.
Okay.
So
I think
it looks all
maybe one of
demonic to
them.
me.
They have a lot of. They have many gods. I think they have maybe like we were saying, a new age type. I would have to look it up a bit more. I have some friends that are Hindu. My understanding is they have like thousands or millions of gods, but there is like one monotheistic. I wouldn't say like personality. Like, we have Trinity. We have more than one. We have three
right,
eternal
but
persons.
we have one God in being, three in person.
Yeah.
We don't have.
Well, this is what I'm trying to get at. Is I think maybe I'm wrong in my understanding, but that is something similar. That they have one being of God, but like a million gods instead of three, which I find.
But the gods are different too. They relate to social concepts and
watch there when you
different
talk
stuff.
Yeah. And that's not monotheism. It's polytheism, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's is the Trinity polytheism because you have three persons with one being?
Yes, Trinity's polytheism. Yeah, no, Trinity is monotheism. Just God is a triunity. Three different persons.
But why can't there be a multi-million unity?
Because God chose three: Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I know you arguing from a Muslim standpoint. I understand.
No. I would actually no. I'm arguing right now from a New Age perspective, because as a pantheistic type of belief, my understanding was that God, and all that God is, all of everything, all of nothing, and more than that. It's eternal, beyond anything we could learn. But that God was looking in on itself, trying to understand itself, and so when it focuses on only one thing, it's kind of like a quantum mechanics kind of thing. When it focuses on one thing, or like praise, when you worship in church, you praise and worship the Lord, and you're putting your focus and attention on Him. My understanding that it was God would put His attention on a person to such a point that God takes on that perspective of that person or of that awareness. Like the level of awareness is centered and lowered to, but I don't like that model. I don't go from that model.
Well, again, I disagree. God is, as we know, omnipresent, omniscient. There was another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the camera on Luciano. He likes to see himself.
I can't think of it. Omni something. Being omnipresent, God is everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Right?
Luciano's going to fall down. Watch out. He's getting tired.
Polytheism is more like Greek mythology, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Or the Hindu belief system, yeah.
Yeah, Hindu, Buddhist. I mean, they all believe in more than one God. We don't. We believe in one God, one being. But that God can become three in person.
Right.
That's not a contradiction. Nabil Qureshi explained that very well in one of his videos.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to explain Trinity.
I like Dr. Craig, his explanations too. He has some good philosophical ones where if God is love, to actualize God, He'll need more than one person, because you need at least another person to love.
Right. True that.
So they're saying.
God's Spirit is omnipresent too. So God's Spirit can be with all of us and still be one God.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus being God incarnate, He's still, and Jesus after He was resurrected, He showed signs of omnipresence, omniscience, and the third thing, which I forget.
All power, all knowledge.
Yeah. Right. He appeared into
being everywhere, and then all strength.
Right. Omnipresence, omniscience. I can't think of the third one. This is killing me.
I have a pamphlet somewhere that tells me. I don't know. It's late. We're time to actually stop the podcast because Luciano has to go a long time ago.
Have to go sleep
like a long time ago. All right, let's change the camera there.
Or you can keep going if you want, but I'll just go sleep.
I think we've been going for over an hour now, and it's a good place to stop here. Frank, it was nice to have you on. Frank is on Facebook, on True Talk Podcast. We'll put links. I'll probably come back and talk about this again. I don't know. Say that I won't, but I would like to invite the Reverend Dr. Katie Valentine on to talk with me, or at least with the email exchange, I would like to ask her some questions, and then you guys can tell me your questions too, and we'll figure something out. Because again, I want to focus on the issues of salvation primarily, and like Frank, you said, if she's leading people away, because that would be what would be the main thing. Is she leading people away and losing their salvation, or being a stumbling stone to getting their salvation?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I want to focus on. I guess the main thing I would say would be a danger of demonic possession or not doing something properly. So, but I guess this is where too, if you have a godly person, centering them, and they're.
See, what I find interesting nowadays is that with the internet and everything is that, let's say you make a video to talk about something, people are not gonna agree with you, but they're not gonna want to watch the video because they don't want to give you some views,
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just against you, but they don't even want to listen to you or whatever you have to say. They don't want to give you time.
Yeah. I heard a comment like that today, that they just hate their life in general.
Yeah,
they're haters. So.
Exactly,
All right, Frank. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care,
I'm
brother.
sorry to call you, Shawn. I didn't know how else to get in touch.
No,
with
it's
you.
okay. No worries there. I was just like, whoa, somebody's calling. What's going on? And I don't have the wire there. Okay.
See ya, Frank. I don't know if you still listen or can hear
Probably
us.
leave the. And she unplugged everything basically.
So are you gonna say something before the end, or?
Yeah, I'm just gonna switch the music on. If there's anything that you want to talk about, cover right now.
Not really. Just gotta go sleep. Work tomorrow morning.
Did you want to pray? Close it up with a prayer.
Prayer, Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you. Strengthen us and help us be by your side. Give us the courage to wake up every morning and face life.
Yes.
And keep struggling, but keep going up and trying to get better there where we may feel that we are not good enough, or that we fear something. And once again, thank you, and forgive us for sins.
Forgive us.
Amen.
Amen. That's it. He's very tired. I understand what it's like.
Yeah, it's true that.
Oh, it came back on. I got it. There we go.
Give us the courage to wake
Another
up
one is.
every morning.
This is Brian Wall. Go see him on the Facebook, or I know YouTube. He's probably on Facebook too. Yeah, I'm pretty tired too, actually, man. But I'm lucky I don't have to work in the morning.
Just eat something. Call it a night, like they say.
Plug that. What's up?
Anyways, thank you for watching. If anybody was watching at all. If not, hope somebody will watch in the future. We had lots of fun preparing and doing this.
Yeah, that's it. We had a lot of good conversations, and we'll say thank you to what is it called there? Christian Answers to the New Age. We love you. You're our brothers and our sisters. We for sure made mistakes in what we said somewheres along the line. Please forgive us. And you will hear this a lot in apologetics. Iron sharpens iron. So we're just, if someone criticizes you or me, we're just getting better and stronger.
Right.
Okay. Oh, look, see, I just got it. Look there. It just says an email from Dr. Katie. So, we're going to talk with her. I want to talk with her. She seems like a cool person.
I know, right?
All right. God bless everybody.
All right. God bless. And
there we go. Look, watch. You want to push the button?
Yeah, right, sure.
There you go.
There you go.